Hello, my dear class 12. I am your teacher Shimna. Today our topic is the introduction and analysis of system lifecycle. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to evaluate the different methods of analysis, and you can also describe the contents of specification. Let's start our tutorial. Okay. So, in a system life cycle, it involves the 6 main stages. What are they? They are analysis, design, development and testing, implementation, documentation, and evaluation. We can describe each of the stages in detail. Okay. So, the above phases, they are the subsections of the system life cycle. We can also call it as the system development cycle. Okay. So, the first stage is analysis. During analysis, it involves how the current system works and what are the requirements that should be gathered from a client for our new system. The analysis will be conducted by the system analyst. They will review the existing system which is currently not meet expectation. That's why they are gather the informations or the specifications from the client. The steps shown below will be followed to develop a new system which is fit for the purpose. Okay, so the system life cycle, it will go through the 6 major steps. Then only we can develop a new system, that we can call it as the transformation from the existing system to a new system. For the first step, that is the analysis, the analyst, the system analyst, they are the one who review the existing system. Okay. The first stage, that is analysis. During analysis, they will collect the information about the present systems and they will also identify the problem, because we cannot make a new system or we cannot make a solution without identifying the problem. So during analysis, they will collect all the information regarding the present system and they will also identify the problems. What is the next step? That is design. After analysis, they will create a design. The designing a new system to correct the problems identified in the analysis. They will use a lot of diagrams for our design. Okay. The third stage, that is development and testing, means the development and testing of your new systems. It involves a lot of steps and lot of efforts. They will be usually carried out by the development team itself with the help of the platforms and the programming languages. Depends on the project. The fourth stage is installation. We already reviewed the existing system and we need to replace our old system with a new one. That is the installation. We can also call it as implementation. Next stage, that is the fifth stage, is documentation. They will create the technical and user documentation for the new system. Then evaluation. They will evaluate whether the new system meets the requirements of the design requirements. They will make a match between the existing new system that will meet all the requirements and specifications provided by the client. They will check everything. These are the 6 stages in system life cycle. Okay. And the evaluation, it's called, you will find there is an iteration between evaluation and design, because they need to check the new system meets the requirements of the design requirement. That's why here they have a feedback or an iteration. Okay, so we are going to discuss more in details about the analysis phase. Okay, we all know that the analysis, it involves finding out how the current system works and what are the requirements for the new system, because they are going to analyze our current systems. Okay, then the methods used to research the current systems and the requirements of the new systems includes, what are they? The first one, because we need to gather all the information from the client, we will use a lot of methods to research the current system. They are the questionnaire, interviews, observation, document analysis. Okay, so start with the first one, that is the questionnaire. Okay, this is an analysis technique. During questionnaire, from the name itself, it involves a lot of questions. Okay, the questionnaires are used when the information is required from a large number of users, when it would be impractical to interview them all. Okay, they need to gather a lot of information from a number of users. Even it's impractical to interview each of them. That's why they are using the questionnaire. Okay, because what are the advantages of it? Because we can reach a large number of users or the larger audience. Okay, then the questions can be answered quickly, uses the tick boxes, and they will make printed papers and given to the clients, and it has a lot of questions and their suggestions, so it's easier to use, and they can even given a lot of users at the same time. Okay, because and the questionnaires are distributed to the employees or customers to find out the range of opinions about the current system. It's like a survey. But the disadvantages are, it cannot be accurate sometimes if the users, they are giving the false information regarding it, so it can make a problem. It does not allow the analyst the opportunity to ask the users to elaborate on answers without contacting the users again. Okay, if there is any clarification that is required for a particular question, the analysts will not get an opportunity to meet them directly. That's why we need the interview. It involves a direct conversation between the analyst and the client. They can arrange the face-to-face meeting between the analyst and the client. So it can ask the open-ended questions to a group of clients to collect more requirements and feedback. So they can overcome some of the disadvantages happen in the questionnaire, right? Then it has the disadvantages. The logistics of each interviews need to be planned. So they will allot some kind of interviews. They want to make an interview, or so it can be a time-consuming process. The interview can't remain anonymous with this method. So they should make a direct contact with the analyst, so they cannot remain anonymous. So the third one is observation. We know that there are 4 types of analysis techniques. The first one is questionnaire. Second one, the second one, interview. The third one is observation. The observation involves the analyst. They are watching the process that take place within the organization to find out how every task are completed. The analyst itself, they are observing the process or whatever things happened in the organization itself. The use of the current system is also observed, and they will also make how it works. Everything will be observed by the analyst. Its advantages, analysts can obtain the reliable information about the current system, because they are the analyst itself, they are observing directly about the current system. So that will not be biased from the analyst point of view. The disadvantages is the employees, they will not feel comfortable because they are being observed, and the users are being observed. They may do things differently from normal, or they may be more efficient, and so this does not give the analyst a true picture Okay. So during the observation phase or observation techniques, if they are using, sometimes the employees, they will not make the correct picture, or they tend like, or they prompt like they are doing their best, but they may not, right? So employees may perform differently if they know they are being observed. Fourth one is document analysis. They will use the existing documents for the current systems, and it is analyzed to identify what data is input and output. Then, its advantages: analyst can identify the process by looking at the documents, can estimate the amount of data even the volume is unknown. Okay. Then its disadvantages is it can be the time consuming, because it requires a lot of time to identify all the requirements and everything about the current systems, because they need to analyze from the existing documents. Okay, so it's not even, it's like a time consuming, and it's not even the cost effective. Next is the contents of specifications. Okay, there are 3 types of specifications used within the life cycle. These can be summarized in the table. There are 3 types of requirement specifications: requirement specifications, design specifications, and system specifications. The first one, that is requirements or specifications, means they are created by the analyst, and it is the contract between the developer and client. It also identifies what the system must do. It's more concentrate on the requirements. Okay, the design specifications is by the designer. It shows how your system will look, and it also describes how the system should work. Then it specifies the data structures to be used. It involves more in design stage. Third one is system specification. It's by the designer itself. It uses it, or it identifies what type of softwares and hardwares are needed to run the system, because it usually involves in system. It also identifies the minimum hardware required to run a system. Okay, so these are the 3 major specifications within the life cycle. They are requirement specifications. Then the second one is design specification and system specification. The requirement specification, it is between the developer and the client, and it identifies what the system must do. Then second one is design specification. It describes how your system should work. It uses data structures. Third one is system specification. It identifies the softwares and hardwares that is needed for your system to run. Then, so in an analysis, it must go through 3 major steps: the data that is input, then what the process and the output into the system are identified. That is, what are the data should be inputted to the systems, and how they are processed and output. Okay. Then the problem with the current system are identified. Then the requirements of the new users and potential new system are identified. So during the analysis, we already have the current systems, and that is called the old system. We need to gather, or we need to add up a lot of new features to the old system in order to develop a new system. Okay. We can describe these 3 specifications, so the requirement specifications, system specification, and design specification in detail. So we know that the requirement specification, it is the contract between developer and the client to specify the requirements of the client, so that the developer can develop a new system. So the requirement specification, it should include what is the purpose or the scope of your system, and also the main objectives of the system, what data should be output from the system, and what data to be taken need to be input into the system. So the input, output, then what? The process. That's here you will find, see the first one, what data is inputted and the process, then output. Then where we can store all this data, that is data that need to be stored. Then the functional requirements, also the deadline for each milestones with the project. These are the major requirement specification. During the requirement specification, it is a contract between the developer and the client in order to create a new system. Okay, they also gather all the requirements. It involves a lot of steps. What are they? It will it will also include the purpose and the objectives of the system, the input data, output data, process, where the data to be stored, also the functional requirements and deadlines. Okay, the second one is what? System specification. So system specification lists out all the softwares and the hardwares that is needed for your new system to be run. Once the software is known, the minimum hardware required to run the software can be identified. The analyst will specify the processing speed and the amount of memory required. That we call it as the minimum specifications of your system, because we need to create the project with the help of the softwares and the hardwares that should be the good enough to make your project. Then design specifications. It is produced by the designer itself, and it's like an illustration of how the system will look. It also uses a lot of data structures and how the system will work. Later, so these are the three types of specifications. Okay, the design specifications, it is the second stage of system life cycle, that we can call it as the design phase. And this design phase, you will be able to design the flow charts, data flow diagrams, screen layouts, validation routines, data dictionary. These are the 5 major things that will happen in the design phase that we are going to discuss later. In addition to this, a design specification will include house styles, screen sizes, connectivity diagram to show link between the screen and purpose of calculation. I hope you understand the different types of analysis techniques. What are they? Questionnaire, then observation, document analysis, interview, and 3 types of specification. What are they? Requirement analysis, then system specifications, and design specification. I hope you understand our topic. Thank you.